What is an old-growth forest? By Caleb. Introduction. I researched old-growth forests. An old-growth forest is an old forest without significant disturbance. I have 3 sections about old-growth forests: trees that live in an old-growth forest, animals that live in an old-growth forest, and abiotic, biotic factors that are in an old-growth forest. This is an old-growth forest. Trees that grow in an old-growth forest. There are 4 old-growth forests I have found. The first one is Southwest Oregon, Cascade mountain range. The various trees that live in the Southwest Oregon Cascade mountain range are Douglas fir, ponderosa pine, and sugar pine. Trees that live in the understory of Southwest Oregon Cascade range are madrone, manzanita, tan oak, and various shrubs. Another old-growth forest I found is the Western Oregon Cascade Mountains. Douglas fir, western red cedar, silver fir, and western hemlock are some trees that live in the Western Oregon Cascades. Living in the understory of the Western Oregon Cascade Range are big-leaf maple, yew, vine maples, rhododendrons, shade-tolerant trees, and ferns. This is a Douglas fir tree. Fun fact: Douglas fir trees like to grow near places with lots of fire and need fire to drop the seeds and grow other Douglas firs. The next old-growth forest is the Western Washington Cascade Range. Some trees that are found there are Douglas fir and hemlocks. The final old-growth forest I found is found in northern Washington and western British Columbia. Trees that are found there are Douglas fir, western hemlock, western red cedar, and Sitka spruce. Those are some old-growth forests and their trees. Fun facts: western hemlocks on the left can grow up to an average of 164, 229 feet, and their trunk diameter is 8 feet. Western red cedar below is known to live up to 1,500 years old in the wild. Animals that live in an old-growth forest. Animals include black bear, which eats fish, fruit, and grubs, and Santa, which eats insects. I'm going to tell you about 9 more animals that live in an old-growth forest. The first 4 animals are gappers, red-backed vole, long-toed salamander, silver-haired bats, and the northern spotted owl. Those are some of the animals that live in old-growth forests. Here's what some of the animals I found eat. Gapper's red-backed vole eats greens. The long-toed salamander eats insects and bugs. The silver-haired bat eats insects, and the northern spotted owl eats small animals. The other 5 animals are Roosevelt elk, Steller's jay, Pacific salamander, Van Dyke salamander, and the wood duck. This is what the animals you just read eat. The Roosevelt elk eats grass. Steller's jay eats seeds, nuts, fruits, insects, etc. Pacific salamander eats insects. The Van Dyke salamander eats insects. And finally, the wood duck eats nuts and insects. That is some of the animals that live in an old-growth forest. These are a Van Dyke salamander above and a Gapper's red-black vole left. Biotic and abiotic factors that are in an old-growth forest. Some abiotic factors that are in an old-growth forest are soil, minerals, rocks, water, fire, and air pollution. Biotic factors include trees, shrubs, plants, ferns, mosses, lichens, fungi, mammals, birds, reptiles, worms, and microbes. Those are some biotic and abiotic factors. An abiotic factor that has an impact on old-growth forests is air pollution. Air pollution increases soil acidity, affects nutrient availability, and weakens the ability of plants to withstand disturbances such as drought and extreme cold. Another abiotic factor that has an influence on old-growth forests is fire. Intense fires have a role in maintaining healthy forests, despite their role in causing extensive tree mortality. Conclusion. After researching and reading, I learned that old-growth forests create ideal conditions for the regeneration of important plant species, that old-growth forests are not very common, air pollution has an influence on old-growth forests, and that lots of animals live in an old-growth forest, and lots of other cool things about old growth forest and what live or grow inside. The green represent old growth forest.